staffing updates. But let me also say, if you have any questions while we are going through the agenda today, feel free to just put them in the chat, and then we will have some time at the end to go through those questions and answer them. And so that's kind of probably the best way of doing that. Also, if you would just make sure that your microphone is muted, that way we're not disturbing the presentations and so forth today, that would be greatly appreciated. So thank you for your cooperation on that. The second item on our agenda is staffing updates. We got some information to share with everybody. So first is that Colin Harrigan, I don't know if Colin is on or not, but he was a senior civil engineer with us. There's Colin right there. Colin is now our civil plan review manager, starting effective as of, I think, last week or the week before. So Colin will take Marty's old spot, if that makes sense, for those of you that have done work with us here in the city before. Also, please let everybody know that we have a new civil plan review reviewer, Donald Breeding, who's in attendance as well, joined us. This is actually his second full day, I think, right, Donald? And so he'll be getting up to speed and providing some additional time and resources to our civil plan review team. So that's exciting. We still have several other vacancies sprinkled throughout the department. And just to kind of give everybody an update on where we are in regards to that, we do have a vacant civil engineer position and a vacant civil plan review supervisor position. Over in building safety, we have a vacant building inspector 1 position and a vacant building inspector 2/fire inspector position as well. So, we are actively recruiting and we're always looking for good talent. So if you know anybody that wants to work in a high-paced, fun, collaborative environment, send them our way. We're always happy to chat with folks. And of course, you can, anybody that's interested, you can always just give them you can go right to the HR website or the HR's portion of the website, and it has all the vacancies on there, and you can apply whenever you'd like. But we are making some strides in filling positions, so we are excited about that, and we do have some existing positions that are still vacant. But hopefully we shall overcome. With that, I'm going to pivot right over to development impact fees, and Jared, our Deputy Finance Director, is on here, who's going to give an update on that. So Jared.
Thank you very much. Sharing my screen, I have a couple slides here. We actually presented at council a week ago and had our public hearing for our land use assumptions and infrastructure improvement plans. So I will not be sending this presentation out because it is cut down quite a bit, but we'll send out the presentation we took to council because it has some additional information in it. So we're looking at updating our fees, having them effective April 1st of 2024. We've been working on those underlying reports, the LUA and the IIP, posting public notice back in July. We'll be looking to adopt those in October. And then the fee adoption will occur after that, starting a couple weeks after the adoption of the reports and working through adoption in January and effective date in April. Just a quick comparison for the single family residential permits. We're looking at a 3% increase in the Goodyear South area, south of the Gila River, from $17,700 to about $18,300. 2% increase in the north area from $16,100 to $16,400. We'll have additional data in that presentation that I gave last week that we'll be sending out to you. More about the timeline. Like I said, we had the public hearing last week. We'll be looking to adopt the LUA and IIP on October 16th, which will lead us into posting a notice of intention to change the rates 2 weeks later, public hearing on the fee adoption in December, and then the adoption of the fees in January with an effective date of April 1st. And with that, that's a much abbreviated kind of timeline of where we're at. But again, I'll send out that presentation that had more detail in it. We also have the draft reports out on our website that we posted as part of that public notice, and we attached it to the council agenda item. Feel free also to go to our council agenda area in our on our website, where you can see the great taped presentation that we had last week, if you'd like to tune into that. I'd like to thank those of you that came out to one of our 5 stakeholder meetings that we had that stretched all the way back to March. Thank you for the input. That helped us out quite a bit as well.
Cool. Anything else, Jared? Does that cover
That's
it?
all I've got.
Okay. If anybody has any follow-up questions or concerns and so forth, you can still, there's still opportunity to reach out to you, right, Jared?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thanks for the update. Item number 4 on the agenda is the zoning ordinance text amendments and general plan and design guidelines update, led by Steve Careccia. Steve.
All right. Thanks, Christopher. I do have 3 zoning ordinance text amendments to let everybody know about. First one is a new business park district that we created for our council's direction. And that's kind of a mix of kind of like our commercial, some light industrial uses. It's kind of got more of a flavor of a business park versus maybe a light industrial park where you do have a lot of cross dock. The business park district will have a lot of internalized courts for the trucks and storage and things like that. So hopefully it'll be that kind of transitional area between maybe industrial and commercial. So we're hoping it gives our developers, our council, our residents some kind of alternative to either an I-1 or an I-2 or general industrial. The other one that we are working on is a throughway sound attenuation. We've known for a while that we were not quite consistent with the ADOT standard, so we finally were able to get the resources on hand and correct that. So we're going to match the ADOT standard of 67 decibels. We were 64, so we're going to raise ours to 67. Both of those went to the Planning Commission, our Planning Commission, on September 13th, and it'll be heard by our City Council on the 25th. The other one worth mentioning is we're working on use permits and special use permits. We have several uses that we're evaluating, looking at maybe streamlining processes, going from a public process to an administrative process. And I believe staff is working on that right now. Christian Williams, our principal planner, is kind of taking a lead on a lot of that, thinking that, Christopher, correct me if I'm wrong, but later October, maybe the 23rd, we might bring some information to council, seek their direction on a pathway forward. So those are 3 text amendments to our zoning code that we're working on. A couple more things I'd like to inform the group. General plan, moving along. We completed the 60-day review. We just went before our council and commission, gave them an update. And so we are now hitting the public hearing phase, to where we're hoping to bring this to our commission and council for adoption. So 2 public hearings before the Planning Commission, October 18th and 25th, and then our final public hearing before the City Council, November 13th. So right now, staff and a consultant, we're pretty much looking at all the comments we received through the 60-day review, making adjustments as necessary to the general plan, and then hoping to bring a final draft to our commission and council here soon. And all that to culminate with an election in May before our voters. And then maybe the last thing I'd like to update the group on is we're looking at our design guidelines, our citywide design guidelines, and kind of some council direction from us to take a look at it, evaluate things, make sure we're getting the quality and type of built environment that our residents, city, and our developers are wanting to build. So we had a kickoff meeting with council. Our consultant met with council, kind of got some direction from them. We're going to take a tour with the consultant here next week, or actually this week, and kind of get a flavor for what's Goodyear and what's good, what's things we'd like to improve upon. The plan is to develop the design guidelines with a lot of public input, make sure we're reaching out to the development community, to our residents and such. So we're thinking we're going to take a lot of this, develop a draft, and then first quarter of 24, start finalizing something and then bringing that forward for review. So with that, I think, Christopher, that was the 3 items I had, but I guess I'll take any questions later on.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Steve. And again, if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat and we'll revisit them at the end today. Thanks for all that. As you can tell, the planning group is pretty busy, or is very busy, with not just city-initiated revisions and evaluations, but also continuing to work on private development projects as well. So thanks for that, Steve. Next, Cheryl and/or Randy, building code update.
We're both here, so let's see who talks first. Go ahead, Randy.
Sure. Yeah, just to give you a quick update, we are still moving forward with the adoption of the 2021 international codes. I have some meetings later this month with our legal to kind of go over the final touches to the package that's going to be going forward to council. I'm hopeful for October 16th. It could be October 30th, and that would push the implementation date out 30 days into mid-November or late November. And with that, as far as projects that are already under development under the 18 codes, there's a grace period that we've built into that, and that's all written out, and it will be adopted along with the codes, so it'll be very clear. But if you have something that's moving forward with the 18s and you're concerned, don't be concerned. You're going to have a window there of at least 90 days after we adopt. And if you've already started designing to the 21s, thinking that we're already going to be there, we can accept those along with an alternate mean and method letter at this point, because we're so close to adoption. We know that some people are trying to anticipate us moving forward with that, and we had planned to already be done with it. So we will honor that and just use an alternate means and method to get those moving forward. By the time we get them approved and they go through our review process, we should have the new codes on board.
Great. Thanks, Randy. Anything to add, Cheryl?
I thought there was a grace period different for the home builders that we had discussed.
There is a different grace period for the home builders for standard plans. If you have standard plans that are on file with us currently, after adoption, you will have a full year to get your standard plans updated to the 21 codes.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Cheryl.
Thank you.
It always takes a team, Randy.
It does indeed.
It takes a team. It takes a team. Great. Thank you all. Appreciate that. Let's see. Next, Marty, EDS PM update.
All right. So I think we kind of mentioned this at one of the prior forums, but we are moving forward with updating our engineering design standards and policies manual. It's been since 2017 since anything's really been touched in there. We did have a preliminary update on the streetlight section. That's still in draft form, so we'll be looking to roll that in to this full update. Tentatively, we're working with Kimley-Horn as a consultant on this project, and we're working on some dates. They have the mailing list, which should be identical to this forum, so be on the lookout for some emails from someone at Kimley-Horn and Associates. We're looking at middle to end of October for a kickoff meeting. The first section will be primarily a lot of the processing pieces of our standards, chapters 0, 1, and 2, which are the administrative section, introduction, the plans and permitting process, as well as chapters 8, 9, and 10, which are the site development, subdivisions, and as-built requirements. So a lot more of the processing side of things to start out, and then move on into the utilities and streets, transportation type stuff. So those will be later in the year, if not early next year. Kind of take them in 2 to 3 month increments. So if you get the invite for the first one, you're going to get them for the next 2 or 3 sections as well. Those invitations to the kickoff meeting should also be accompanied with any suggestions or known gray areas or problems that you may know on the development side that you would like to see fixed, or propose something new that you've seen elsewhere in the valley or elsewhere in the state or nation. So we are open to to those types of suggestions, but there should be a form that accompanies that gives us that documented reference, and if there's any sort of design parameter with it, we do ask that a registered engineer or surveyor, depending on what the request is, back that up with the signature. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully by the end of this month, we should be getting those out.
Thanks, Marty. Appreciate that. Permitting software Acela update. As Debbie's not here, she's in a meeting with our vendors and so forth. So I'll just take this one, and then Randy, if you want to chime in, feel free. As you all, we've discussed and indicated previously, we have selected Acela to be our new software for not just our permitting system. It's going to be a department-wide system, so you will actually interface with Acela. Project Docs we will still be utilizing it. However, it will be just simply our plan review software. All of your interactions, submissions, payments, and things of that nature will be through the Acela platform. So it's a big change, a big technology lift for us here at the city. We haven't had this type of technological advancement since I think 1995 or 1996 when we launched HTE. So congratulations to us. We're now getting modern, so to speak. And one of the greatest tools that Acela is going to afford us to offer you all is payment online. Imagine that. In 2023, we will now be able to take payments online, which I know will be a benefit for you all in the private sector, and it will also benefit us as well. So we are really looking forward to launching that. Our implementation date was going to be the end of October, but as I indicated, it is a very heavy lift, and there's a lot of complexity on our side. So we've postponed it a little bit until the very end of January. I think the weekend of January 19th is when that would switch over and go live. So we will be blasting out all kinds of information regarding that. There will be opportunities for those of you in the private sector who make applications and use our systems a lot to be educated on how to navigate through the Acela Citizen Portal. So when we also have to train ourselves, and then right around the go live time, they'll be able to block out where you won't be able to upload plans or anything of that nature. But we will give plenty of notice. We know it will be an inconvenience, but growing and improving, sometimes there is a short window of inconvenience, and that's really how we are viewing this. So accept our apologies early on if it does cause you any problems, but knowing that we're going to be in a better place after we go live, I hope it provides some reassurance for the short-term inconvenience. So that's really what I had on that. Randy, I don't know if you wanted to chime in on anything or I overlooked anything.
No, you touched on all of the items that I would have had anything to say about, so nice job.
Okay, great.
I agree with everything you said. It is a heavy lift.
Randy, who's our building official, has been on temporary assignment for about better part of a year and a half, working with Debbie White on this as well, and they're just full-time on this project. So I know Randy's looking forward to coming back and being a building official at some point in this time.
I am, and I'm also thankful for Cheryl Mullis being able to step in and do such a great job filling the role of building official while I've been on special assignment. So
Absolutely. It always takes a team. It always takes a team.
Let me apologize. I'm trying to put a note in the chat and it's not working. I just gave you somebody's phone number, so
Oh,
great
okay.
job there. There you go. Okay, let's try again. The request for alternate design form. So please don't call Tim Lindner. He'll kill me.
Thanks for that clarification, Cheryl.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
All right. Next two items, number 8 and 9 on our agenda is wastewater and wastewater update, and then also the 157th kind of Avenue sewer plant update. And I'm gonna let Ray and Todd, if Todd's on, with our water services department, run with these two. Just to kind of kick it off a little bit, Barbara, the director of that department, is out of town and unavailable. So it's not that Ray and Todd are subbing, but they're here for her because they both are very aware of the status of what's going on, and we'll give you an update. I know that there's also been a lot of questions. We've gotten a lot of questions through the civil plan review department as well on the status of this. So I know everybody's eagerly wanting to hear Ray and Todd. So I'll just turn that right over to y'all. Ray?
Good afternoon. I don't know if Todd's on or not, but I'll just start with the current state of our water portfolio. So the city itself has a designation of assured water supply, and what that means is that we, as a city, have proven 100 years worth of water to the state, whether it's groundwater or surface water. We've shown that we have availability to that water supply. Our current designation is for 18,622 acre feet of water. And designation is typically good for about 12 years. The other time that we would need to update a designation would be if we come close to our allotted designation number of, close to that 18,622, which we are. And so the way the state looks at whether a designation needs to be looked at is they take the existing demand plus committed demands plus 2 years of projections. And when we look at that, we are close to our designation. So we are actively working with our consultant currently and DWR to modify our designation. So in the current designation, the state does not recognize all of our CAP water. And that's because in 2016, when we went for our designation, we did not have the means to receive any direct CAP water into the city. And so now with the current surface water treatment plant, we now have the ability to get that water to us. And so our designation should go up as far as the volume of water that is allotted. So we're working on that. We should have that. Our application should be submitted by the end of this year. And it varies on how long it can take. It can take up to 2 years. The city of Surprise was the last city to work on their designation, and it took them a good 3.5 years to work through that. So we're hoping that ours won't take as long, but we are working through that. We're also working with our consultant on our integrated water master plan, and that's just, it's going to look at land use allotments for those parcels, and we're also going to look at what's currently being allotted for different use cases like industrial or businesses and things like that. So we'll look and see if those numbers are correct and make adjustments and keep working towards completing our or updating our IWMP. So that should be done by mid 2024. Let's see, wastewater. So November 2022, the city reached out and had an agreement with Maricopa County to ensure that we did not exceed 97% of our total capacity at the 157th wastewater treatment plant. So once we got that, if we did exceed that, then that would be a trigger for us to, it would have an impact on how development happened. And so we were given, I guess, a time frame for us to work and update and modify the treatment plan. So currently, our numbers in July were about 96% of permitted capacity, and so we attributed that to the hotter weather. We did have the surface water plant online, and that does create a backwash, and that backwash goes directly to the wastewater treatment plant. So that takes up a capacity there. If we were to stop with the wastewater, if we were to stop using the surface water plant and then just using our groundwater, that would again take up additional capacity there because it would create an additional brine from our RO facilities. And so it's either way, we're still using up a lot of capacity. And so it was just due to the really hot weather. So I know it has dropped down quite a bit, but we are still working on working with the county and getting the a re-rating for the facility. So it's currently at 6.5 million gallons a day. We are working to get it re-rated to 7 MGD, and that should be in January. And then working through additional upgrades to the plant. I know that there's been a master plan that's wrapping up for the facility. It's about 10% complete, and that's going to show us going from 7.5 MGD to a 10 MGD expansion. And that's it.
Thanks, Ray. You rolled right through the 157th, so that's great. Thank you very much for that. I've got to hop off here right now. Katie Wilkin is going to go ahead and finish out and moderate the Q&A portion. Katie, can I turn it over to you?
Absolutely. Okay, so do we have any questions? I see there's something in the chat.
And I have unlocked the ability for anyone to unmute themselves as well if you don't have access to the chat. Just one at a time, please.
Randy and I have been responding to the questions that were in the chat so far, so I think we're up to date on that.
Yeah, it looked like we were caught up. We'll give it a couple more minutes in case anyone's struggling with technology.
Randy had to leave also. So you're stuck with Cheryl.
Otherwise, that's all we have for you today. So if nobody has anything, we can wrap up the meeting. I appreciate everybody's time today to meet with us. And it seems like it's starting to get a little cooler, so celebrate, yay.
Yes.
All right, I don't see any questions. So everyone have a good one. Again, thank you for spending the afternoon with us.
And if there's something you realize as soon as we end the meeting, because that's what always happens, you can feel free to email it back over to me, Alyssa Magley. I'm the one that sent out the invitation. So, and I'll get it routed to the appropriate people.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
Have a good day,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.